Fluorescent lights in the South Side Chicago police precinct buzz overhead like angry wasps. It's 2 in the morning, and I can taste copper in my mouth from biting the inside of my cheek during the drive here. When Sergeant Miller called, his voice was careful, measured. "Miss Baker, we have your niece and nephew here. They're safe, but we need you to come down." I'd thrown on whatever clothes I could find and driven through the blizzard, gripping my steering wheel so hard my knuckles went white. "Cooper and Piper are here. They're safe. That's all that matters." But Miller doesn't lead me to the children. His hand on my elbow is firm as he guides me past the waiting area where I catch a glimpse of silver emergency blankets. He steers me into an interrogation room instead. The door closes with a click that sounds too final. Miller drops a plastic evidence bag on the metal table between us. Inside is a crumpled note, and even through the clouded plastic, I can see my name scrawled across it in Sloane's handwriting. "Miss Baker." Miller's voice has lost all warmth. "Can you explain why a wealthy Lincoln Park architect would send 2 small children to a frozen industrial wasteland in the middle of a blizzard?" The words hit me like a fist to the stomach. "What?" "I didn't. Child abandonment is a felony in Illinois." He leans forward, and I can smell the coffee on his breath. "Child trafficking carries even heavier penalties." "You want to start explaining?" My hands shake. "There's been a mistake," I say, but my voice comes out strangled. "I live at 2400 North Clark, Lincoln Park." "The children, where were they found?" Miller's eyes don't leave my face. 2400 South Clark Street. An abandoned industrial park. During a blizzard warning. Dressed in summer clothes. The difference hits me like ice water. North versus south. 1 letter. 2 completely different worlds. My address is tree-lined streets and boutique coffee shops. South Clark at that number is warehouses and broken streetlights and nowhere a child should ever be. I have to stop, breathe. I told my sister no. I sent her an email. I have proof. Miller crosses his arms. "People send emails to cover their tracks all the time, Ms. Baker. 12 hours ago, I was at my drafting table, racing against a deadline that could make or break my career. When Sloane called, I was eyebrow deep in elevation drawings." "Wren, thank God you answered." Her voice had that manic edge I've learned to recognize. "I need you to watch Cooper and Piper tonight." "I can't. I told you last week I have that deadline." "This is important, Wren. Family is important." The familiar guilt tried to claw its way up my throat, but I'd swallowed it down. "I will not be home tonight. Do not bring them to my apartment. I will not answer the door." I'd hung up and immediately sent an email at 3:30 p.m., just to be clear. Just to have it in writing. "I will not be home. Do not bring them. I will not open the door." Now Miller is watching me like I'm a liar. "The email could have been sent after the fact," he says. "Or you could have changed your mind and panicked." "Can I see them?" My voice cracks. "Please. I need to see that they're okay." Something shifts in Miller's expression. He stands. "Follow me." Through the one-way glass, I see them. Cooper is wrapped in one of those silver emergency blankets, shaking so hard I can see it from here. Piper sits next to him, clutching her stuffed bear, and her eyes are vacant. Empty. Like she's somewhere else entirely. My knees buckle. I catch myself on the glass. That fog descends. The one that's been my companion for 28 years. The voice that whispers, "Fix this. Protect Sloane. Take the blame. You're the responsible one." I could do it. I could tell Miller it was all a misunderstanding. I could make this go away for everyone. Everyone except Cooper and Piper. The Uber driver, Miller says behind me, was told their father was waiting for them. She dropped them at the curb and drove away. I close my eyes. You should thank God for Mr. Henderson, the night security guard. If he hadn't heard them banging on his booth, screaming for help, Miller pauses. You'd be identifying bodies at the morgue right now, Miss Baker. The blood drains from my face so fast I have to grip the windowsill. This wasn't a mistake. This was calculated. Sloane knew I said no. She read that email. The read receipt showed 3:47 p.m. She'd opened it, absorbed every word, and then she'd done this anyway. Punishment for daring to set a boundary. I turned to face Miller. My hands are still shaking, but my voice is steady. I didn't call that Uber. I have the email I sent refusing to babysit. I have proof I told her no. I meet his eyes and don't look away. I'm not covering for her this time. The words feel like stepping off a cliff. 28 years of conditioning. Of being the good daughter. The reliable sister. All of it crumbles away. Miller's phone sits on the metal table between us. You said you can prove you told her no. Let's see it. My fingers fumble with my phone, pulling up the email thread. The timestamp glares back at me. 3:30 p.m. Read receipt, 3:47 p.m. I need to make a call, I say. Declan, her husband. He's in Cleveland for a conference. He can verify I never agreed to this. Miller nods. FaceTime. I want to see his face when he answers. When Declan appears on screen, his face goes white. Watch the kids. Wren's working tonight. She told Sloane she couldn't. He stops. Where are Cooper and Piper? Safe, Miller says. Barely. They were dropped off at an abandoned industrial park on the south side during a blizzard. South Clark? Declan's voice cracks. Wren lives on North Clark. Another pause. I need to access my home security system. Ring camera. Give me 2 minutes. The video file arrives moments later. The timestamp reads 5 p.m. Sloane staggers into frame, wineglass dangling from her hand. She's swaying. Cooper appears. Mommy, where's our coats? She doesn't answer, just pushes him toward the door. Piper comes next, wearing a summer dress. Sloane shoves them both outside and the door slams. Not once does she check her phone. Not once does she check the Uber destination. Miller's jaw tightens. You're cleared, Miss Baker. Your sister, however, will be arrested for child endangerment the moment we locate her. 4 hours later, Preston and Lenore Baker sweep through the precinct doors like they own the building. They walk right past the room where their grandchildren sit wrapped in blankets, still shaking. Walk right past them without a glance. Preston spots me. Wren. We need to talk. Privately. I'm not leaving the children. The children are fine. Lenore's hand lands on my arm, nails digging in just enough to hurt. What we need to discuss is damage control. Do you have any idea what this will do to Preston's company stock? Your grandchildren almost froze to death. Don't be dramatic. Preston pulls out his checkbook. Right there in the police station, he writes with smooth strokes, then slides the check across. $50,000. Consider it a gift, Preston says. An early birthday present. But gifts are for family members who support each other. Tell the police it was a family miscommunication. You gave Sloane the wrong address by accident. Something inside me breaks. Not shatters, just quietly disconnects. I pull out my phone and open the voice recording app. Then I slide it back into my pocket, still recording. So you want me to lie to the police? I say clearly. Tell them I gave Sloane the wrong address, in exchange for $50,000. Preston's face flushes. Don't make this sound sordid. A gift in exchange for perjury. Think about the family, Lenore hisses. I pick up the check. For a moment, I just look at it. All I have to do is lie. All I have to do is let them win one more time. I tear it in half. Preston's face goes purple. You'll regret this. I know exactly what I've done. The precinct doors open. Declan walks in, ignoring my parents completely. He goes straight to the room where the children are, drops to his knees, and pulls them both into his arms. The first parent to prioritize them all night. Behind him, a woman in a charcoal suit enters. Elena Russo. The family law attorney I called 2 hours ago. Her eyes meet mine. She nods once. The war has started. But this time, I'm not fighting alone. The preliminary hearing feels like theater. Sloane takes the stand in cream-colored wool and understated pearls, her expression carefully composed into wounded dignity. I'd arranged for my sister Wren to watch Cooper and Piper, she testifies. She'd agreed to babysit. I gave the Uber driver her address, 2400, North Clark Street. I don't know how the children ended up on the south side. Elena sits beside me, writing in her legal pad. She doesn't object, doesn't interrupt, just lets the lies stack up like kindling. Are you certain your sister agreed? Sloane's attorney asks. Absolutely certain. She said yes, on the phone. I would never have sent them otherwise. When it's Elena's turn to cross-examine, she rises slowly. Ms. Baker Montgomery, you testified that your sister verbally agreed to babysit. Is that correct? Yes. And you're certain she agreed? Under oath, you're testifying that Wren Baker told you yes? Something flickers in Sloane's eyes. But she's committed now. Absolutely certain. Elena nods slowly. No further questions, Your Honor. That's it. No email, no ring footage, no dramatic reveal. Judge Okonkwo grants Sloane supervised visitation. We walk out of the courthouse, and Preston catches my eye, triumphant. You should have taken the check, Wren. Family always wins. In the parking garage, Elena closes her leather notebook with a sharp snap. She's on the record now. Every lie is documented, time-stamped, under oath. But we lost today, I say. We let her think she won. Elena's smile is cold. Now we own her. In 30 days, we prove it. 30 days later, the courtroom feels smaller, more suffocating. Sloane sweeps in wearing ivory, confident. She thinks this is just cleanup before her inevitable victory. Elena recalls her to the stand. During the preliminary hearing, you testified that your sister verbally agreed to babysit your children, correct? That's right. She said yes. And you gave the Uber driver her address? 2400, North Clark Street? Of course I did. I would never send my children to the wrong place. I'm their mother. Elena turns to the screen. Your Honor, I'd like to enter Exhibit A into evidence. An email fills the screen. From Wren Baker. To Sloane Montgomery. Sent, January 14th, 3:30 p.m. Subject, tonight. I will not be home. Do not bring them. I will not open the door. Read receipt, open January 14th, 3:47 p.m. The courtroom erupts in whispers. Mrs. Montgomery. You opened this email at 3:47 p.m. You read it. And yet you testified under oath that your sister agreed to babysit. Which statement is true? Sloane's mouth opens. Closes. I forgot about the email. You forgot an email you opened 6 hours before the incident? An email that explicitly stated, in capital letters, that Miss Baker would not be home? Let's move on, Elena says. Your Honor, I'd like to play Exhibit B. The Ring camera footage fills the screen. Sloane, hair messy, holding a wine glass, swaying as she ushers both children outside into the blizzard. Piper in a thin summer dress. Sloane never checks her phone, never confirms the address. She just closes the door. Wine glass still in hand. The gallery reacts with audible horror. Were you intoxicated when you sent your children out into a blizzard warning, without proper winter clothing? I had one glass. The footage shows you holding wine at 5 p.m., hours before your scheduled flight. How many glasses had you consumed by that point? I don't remember exactly. You don't remember. Just like you didn't remember the email. Elena presses play on one final audio file. Preston's voice fills the courtroom, consider it a gift. Do that, and the check is yours. My mother's voice, tell them you gave her the wrong address. Preston is on his feet. That recording is illegal. Your conversation took place in a police station waiting area, Mr. Baker, Judge Okonkwo says. There is no reasonable expectation of privacy in a public municipal building. The recording is admissible. Sit down. The judge turns to Sloane. Mrs. Montgomery, you have committed perjury in my courtroom. You have demonstrated a pattern of reckless endangerment of your own children. Bailiff, detain the witness. Sloane screams, a high-pitched wail that echoes off the walls. You will be charged with perjury, child endangerment, and reckless conduct. I am awarding sole custody to Declan Montgomery, effective immediately. Sloane Montgomery's parental rights are terminated. Wren Baker is designated permanent emergency guardian. Mr. and Mrs. Preston Baker, your visitation rights are suspended. All court costs and Miss Baker's legal fees are the responsibility of Mrs. Sloane Montgomery. The gavel comes down like a gunshot. 3 years pass like water finding its level. I'm standing at Millennium Park watching Mayor Reyes cut the ribbon on the Safe Harbor Garden. My design. The one I almost sacrificed to answer Sloane's call that January night. That evening, I stand in my kitchen chopping vegetables for Sunday dinner while Cooper sketches at my table. He's 12 now, all gangly limbs and serious concentration. Piper barrels in, paint splattered, showing me her watercolor of the Chicago skyline. It's for your office, she announces. So you remember us when you're being important. Declan follows, carrying groceries. We live in a 2-flat now, separate apartments, but shared meals, shared lives. Not romance. Something better. Family built on choice rather than blood. At Cooper's middle school graduation, he takes the stage as valedictorian. Real family, he says, voice cracking then steadying, are the people who show up when you're scared. His eyes find mine in the crowd. I'm crying before I can stop myself. Later, Cooper sprawls on my couch. My friend Jake, his mom keeps borrowing money from him. Is that normal? You can love someone and still protect yourself, Cooper. Those two things aren't opposites. He considers this, then nods slowly. The lesson landing. The cycle breaking. The evening of his graduation, the three of us stand on my balcony watching the sun set over Chicago. Cooper suddenly wraps his arms around me, tall enough now that his chin reaches my shoulder. Thanks for not taking the money, he whispers. My chest tightens. Thanks for being brave enough to tell the truth. Declan's arm comes around both of us. We built something better than what broke. The city spreads below us, millions of lights beginning to flicker on as darkness falls. Somewhere in that vast sprawl are other families making impossible choices, setting necessary boundaries, choosing safety over silence. Laughter drifts up from the street. Piper calls from inside, asking if we want hot chocolate. Cooper pulls away to help her, and I'm left standing with Declan watching our chosen family move through the warm light of home. This apartment. This life. This truth. Better than blood. Better than lies. The north side wind carries the scent of autumn and possibility. We've built our safe harbor, and it holds.